Hello, everyone. Welcome to Daily Your English Partner. Today, I will talk about the ongoing war between Iran and Israel in 2025, and also practice our English listening skills. This conflict has become one of the most serious crises in the Middle East. It has caught the attention of the whole world because it involves many countries and could affect global peace. The war started in June 2025 when Israel launched a large and coordinated military operation against Iran. Israel's main reason was to stop Iran from developing nuclear weapons. Israel believes that if Iran gets a nuclear bomb, it would threaten not only Israel, but the entire region. In this operation, Israel used advanced fighter jets, drones, and missiles to attack over 100 targets inside Iran. These targets included nuclear research centers, missile factories, and military bases. Some of these facilities were located deep underground, protected by strong defenses. Before these airstrikes, Israeli intelligence agencies conducted secret missions inside Iran. They used cyber attacks in drones to disable Iran's radar and air defense systems. This allowed Israeli aircraft to enter Iranian airspace with fewer chances of being detected or shot down. This attack caused significant damage to Iran's nuclear program. Iran's government was shocked, but did not stay silent. They prepared to respond strongly and quickly.
The humanitarian impact of the Iran-Israel war is severe. Thousands of civilians have been injured or displaced on both sides. Hospitals are overwhelmed, especially in cities targeted by missile attacks. Emergency services are stretched thin, and many people live in constant fear. International aid organizations are trying to provide help, but the conflict makes it difficult to deliver supplies safely. The destruction of infrastructure, such as roads and power plants, further worsens the situation. In addition to the physical damage, the war has created psychological trauma for many people. Children and adults alike experience stress and fear every day. The longer the war continues, the more these effects will grow. On the diplomatic front, many countries and international organizations are working hard to bring peace. Negotiations continue behind the scenes, with efforts to arrange ceasefires and peace talks. The United Nations and countries like the United States, Russia, China, and members of the European Union urge both Iran and Israel to stop the violence and find a peaceful solution. Despite the difficulties, hope remains. People all over the world want to see an end to the war. Peace talks, if successful, could prevent further loss of life and help rebuild trust. It is important for everyone to stay informed, support humanitarian efforts, and encourage leaders to choose peace over conflict. Thank you for listening. I hope this explanation helped you understand the current situation better. The Iran-Israel war is not only a regional issue, it has global consequences. Because the Middle East is important for oil production and international trade, instability here affects economies worldwide. For example, oil prices have already risen due to fears about the Strait of Hormuz and possible supply disruptions. Countries far from the conflict are watching closely. Some support Israel, others back Iran, and many call for peace and diplomacy. This division influences international relations and can cause tension among global powers. Media coverage plays a significant role in shaping public opinion about the war. Different news outlets often present the events from different perspectives. This can make it hard for people to get a clear and balanced understanding of what is happening. Social media has made the spread of information faster, but also sometimes less accurate. People share videos, images, and opinions, but not all are verified. This can lead to misunderstandings and increased tensions between communities. Public opinion in many countries influences government policies. When people demand peace, governments feel pressure to negotiate. However, when emotions run high, public support for military action can grow. Overall, the war between Iran and Israel shows how conflicts in one region can affect the entire world.
It is important for people everywhere to seek accurate information and promote peaceful solutions. As the Iran-Israel war continues, many possible future scenarios exist. One possibility is that the fighting will escalate further, drawing in more countries and causing even more destruction. This could lead to a wider regional war, which would be catastrophic for the Middle East and the world. Another possibility is that both sides might eventually agree to a ceasefire. This could happen through direct negotiations or with the help of international mediators such as the United Nations. A ceasefire would stop the immediate violence and open the door to longer-term peace talks. A peaceful resolution will be difficult but necessary. Both Iran and Israel have deep mistrust and many years of conflict behind them. However, peace is the only way to ensure safety, stability, and prosperity for their peoples. International cooperation will be key. Countries around the world must work together to encourage dialogue, provide humanitarian aid, and support rebuilding efforts after the war. For now, people everywhere should hope for peace and stay informed about developments. Understanding the complexity of the situation helps us appreciate the challenges and the importance of working toward a better future. Thank you for listening.
The war between Iran and Israel grew even more dangerous when the United States joined the conflict. In June 2025, the U.S. launched airstrikes on several Iranian nuclear sites, including the Fordo and Natanz facilities. These strikes aimed to support Israel and to prevent Iran from advancing its nuclear program. The U.S. involvement raised tensions across the region and the world. Many experts feared that the conflict could turn into a full-scale regional war. The U.S. said it acted to protect its ally Israel and to maintain global security. Around the world, many countries expressed deep concern about the fighting. The United Nations called for an immediate ceasefire and urged both sides to return to the negotiating table. Russia, China, and the European Union also called for calm and diplomatic solutions. However, neither Iran nor Israel has shown willingness to stop the fighting so far. The situation remains volatile, and the risk of the war spreading to other countries is high. Meanwhile, civilians on both sides suffer the most. Many people in Israel live in constant fear of missile attacks. Schools and businesses have closed in some cities, and many families have evacuated their homes. In Iran, thousands of people have fled major cities, worried about airstrikes and bombings. Hospitals are overcrowded with the injured, and the humanitarian situation is worsening. The international community continues to watch the situation closely, hoping that diplomacy will prevent further escalation and loss of life. In this conflict, proxy groups play a very important role. Iran supports several armed groups in the region, such as Hezbollah in Lebanon, militias in Syria and Iraq, and the Houthis in Yemen. These groups often act as Iran's allies and extend its influence without direct involvement of the Iranian army. Hezbollah and other groups have launched rocket attacks on northern Israel, increasing the scale and complexity of the war. Israel has responded with airstrikes against these groups' bases in Lebanon and Syria. This creates a dangerous situation because these areas are densely populated and civilian casualties are likely. The war has already affected the entire Middle East region. One serious concern is the Strait of Hormuz, through which a large percentage of the world's oil is shipped. Iran has threatened to close this crucial waterway if the war escalates. Such a closure would disrupt global oil supplies, increase prices, and hurt the global economy. The conflict also risks drawing in other countries. Some neighboring states are watching closely and preparing for any spillover. There are fears that if the war spreads, it could lead to a wider regional conflict involving multiple countries. Looking ahead, there are a few possible outcomes. One is that the fighting could continue for months, causing more destruction and loss of life. Another is that international pressure might force both sides to negotiate a ceasefire. Diplomacy is difficult because both Iran and Israel have strong positions and little trust between them. The world hopes that cooler heads will prevail and a peaceful solution can be found before the war spreads further. In the meantime, the human cost of this war is high.
Civilians on all sides are suffering. It is important to stay informed and to hope for peace.
After the Israeli airstrikes, Iran quickly launched a strong military response. Iran fired hundreds of ballistic missiles and drones at Israeli cities. Some of these missiles were launched directly by Iran's military, while others came from Iranian-backed groups in Lebanon, Syria, and Yemen. Israel's missile defense system, called the Iron Dome, intercepted many of these attacks, protecting cities like Tel Aviv, Haifa, and Beersheba. However, some missiles got through and caused damage. One of the most tragic moments was when a missile struck Soroka Medical Center in Beersheba, injuring more than 50 people, including children. This missile attack on a hospital shocked the international community. Many people called it a war crime because hospitals are protected under international law. Iran warned Israel that the attacks would continue if Israel did not stop bombing Iranian targets. Iran also threatened to close the Strait of Hormuz, a narrow waterway that is critical for global oil shipments. Closing this strait would cause serious problems for the world economy. At the same time, many people in Tehran, the capital of Iran, were afraid. Thousands of families began leaving the city. There were reports that over 100,000 people tried to escape because they feared the war would spread and cause more destruction.